Well, hey guys, Rylan Russell here. Welcome back to the channel for another Friday live stream. Man, I'm just glad to be here. I'm just chilling in my office on this Friday. It's my day off and excited to get to chat with you guys about anything you want, worship related, tech ministry related, and we're going to have some other stuff that I'll talk about throughout the live stream. We're going to do some live stream reviews from a couple people that have submitted their church's streams where we'll just give them feedback on, you know, what we think they're doing great and what maybe they can improve upon. If you have any questions, I'd love to just chat with you. I've got some other stuff that I'll be talking about throughout the stream. We'll probably be on here for about an hour or so if all goes according to plan. So let me know in the comments today, where are you watching from? And is everything sounding good, looking good, in sync? And I would also love to know not only where you're watching from, but like, are you on staff at a church, or are you just a volunteer? What do you do at your church? I put out a poll not too long ago just asking, you know, are you on staff, part-time, contract, or are you just getting jewels in your crown for serving? And I was amazed that the vast majority of you guys that are, you know, subscribed to the channel are just volunteering at your church. And that is amazing. And so it just reinforces to me this idea that me trying to figure out these ways to do ministry cost effectively and do tech things kind of on the cheap, that might be pretty helpful for some of you if you're at a church like mine where you don't have an unlimited budget. Not that any church does, but trying to figure out how to do the best job we can and being good stewards at the same time. So where are you watching from today? Where are you joining us from? Are you on staff? What do you do? Who's out there? Let's see. We got Bradley here. He says, hey. Bradley Kendhai. I'm not sure if I said that right, but thanks for hopping on, Bradley, today on the stream. So what have I been up to? What have you been up to this week? You got any special projects going on at your church right now? Yesterday, I got the chance to be on a podcast with Mark Rutherford. He's from Michigan here in the States, and he's got a podcast called Changing Church, and he just asked me to be on and talk about kind of some things that I'm doing here at our ministry here at Central Baptist in Owasso, Oklahoma. So that was fun. I think that's going to come out in a couple weeks or something, so you can check that out, Changing Church Podcast. Let's see, who else is hopping on here today? Jonas from Sweden. The stream looks great. Awesome. Good deal. Looking good, sounding good. We've got Peter Jones here. He's a part-time worship leader in Grand Rapids. Awesome. Jake, we got Great Falls, Montana. He's on staff, and he's got a question that we'll come back to. Let's see, Stanford. Hey, man, he wants to know some stuff about Pro 7. Caleb, he's watching from Alaska. Awesome, guys. Who else is out there? Let me know where you're watching from. What else did we have going on this week? And we'll jump into those questions in just a second. I got some new lights in yesterday, and these are not exciting lights, but I'll show them to you because next week we're going to be installing them. I got these Slimpar Pros, the VW version, so it's the variable white. So I say they're not exciting because, it's lights that will actually help your stream a lot because you can match some LED key lighting with our theatrical lighting, which are just Source 4 Juniors. Right now we've been using some moving headlights, and the color temperature is so different that it's, I'm trying to fix that. And these aren't cheap though. I've been looking at buying these for probably 2 years, and I just can't bring myself to do it. $350 for one light. I think I've got it. And these are heavy. Dang. So you can see it's just your typical PAR, but man, these are beefy. They've got the PowerCon in and out, and it's just 3-pin DMX. And I guess you can do their Wi-Fi. These are Chauvet. So you guys use these? Any recommendations for them or anything like that as far as settings and stuff? I think they're just 3-channel DMX, but we're going to be hanging those this week. It's a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, we've been doing. We got those in this week. Let's see. We've got who else in the chat today? We got some South Africa. Man, I think it's so cool that we can connect all around the world, all for the same cause, and that is serving the Lord and doing the best we can for His church. So yeah, we got new front lights there for our main worship center, but then I don't know if your church is guilty of this, but we at my church, I like to say, in the span of 3 years, we're going to tear down a wall, build something in its place, tear that down, and then rebuild it back the way it was. And so that's kind of what happened here with our youth room. We actually had our fall semester kickoff this last Wednesday, and we had done this same kind of thing before, but we actually just redid it all after taking it all back out. We added a stage, added new LED lighting. This is all just Amazon LED stuff that's cheap. I can link to that in the description. We've used some of these in our worship center for a long time, and they've had little issues here and there, but I mean, for $70 a light, I mean, those against the back wall are just LED bars, and then up on the top ceiling, we've got the other blue lights and stuff. But so, had to help our guys set that all up and get that going again. And, it's just part of the job, and it's fun getting to build those kinds of things. Willie, he's in the house from Clinton, Massachusetts. Awesome. All right, before we jump into a couple of these questions, I just want to ask if you have seen the 2 most recent videos I put out since the last live stream. Talked a lot about the Phoenix Pro, I think is what it's called, the wireless in-ear monitor system that is only like $219, I think. And we've used it for a little over a year, our singers have, and it's been great. So if you haven't seen that video, go check that out. It's on my channel. If you're looking for a cost-effective way to get into wireless in-ear monitors, we've had good luck, and it's a good system. So, and then the video I put out last night is just a little breakdown of how we're doing something in ProPresenter where we're adding black bars to kind of give it that more cinematic look. And I'm just copying Red Rocks Church on that. I liked how they were doing that. So if you haven't checked those out, go do that. And let's get into a couple of these questions. So let me scroll back up here and see. Jake had asked, do you think the Moza Air gimbal is a good option for both roaming and the cable cam setup? Trying to find one that will do both. That's a good question, Jake. So if you're not familiar with our setup, you can go look at lots of videos on my channel and kind of see some of the breakdowns. But we have a Moza Air, and then just a second. I've also got this other gimbal. I'm coming back, just a second. I've got this Ronin SC that is really a great gimbal as well. So I've got the Moza Air, the original, and then I've got this Ronin SC, which is, I would say, a better gimbal than the Moza Air, but it is heavier. Is it a good option for the roaming camera and the cable cam setup? The reason I like it for the cable cam setup is 2 reasons. It is light. It's one of the lighter gimbals, but it can handle a little heavier payload for your camera stuff. But my favorite thing is that it's got the wireless remote, and it's not like a Bluetooth remote. I don't remember. Maybe it's a 2.4 gigahertz. I don't think it is, though. But it works for panning while it's going across on our cable cam. We're probably 30, 40, 50 feet away from the camera at any time, and it stays connected. So that's why I like it for that. Our guys have tried using gimbals for roaming stuff, and unless you're really experienced at operating a gimbal, I feel like it can be more trouble than it's worth. Our guys prefer just to have a monopod because we're running a 70 to 200 Canon lens on there, and so it's a big beefy thing. So that would be my recommendation is, unless there's just some really epic shot you're trying to get, like of running across the back of the room or something, I don't know. I would just probably stick with sticks. So, yeah, but those are good gimbals. I think this one, the SC, was it's down to just a couple $100 now. So, and I've got a video idea for the bigger Ronin that I think I might just get it and give it a try, because I've seen some things with I'm not gonna spoil it though. Stanford, he asks, can you show us how to make the motion graphic for your titles on Pro 7? So currently the way that we're doing our motion titles that you're seeing on our stream, which is CBC Owasso, if you haven't seen it, we're doing those in After Effects, and those are just files that I downloaded off of Video Hive, just templates, and then changed for our use case, colors, all those kinds of things, and then exported them out as video, QuickTime videos that have an alpha channel, and then we're adding those in. So actually last night I was building some of those, kind of copying those styles, but within ProPresenter 7, and it definitely can be done. It's not going to be as fancy, but some of the transitions and stuff do work well. I don't know if I can pull up Pro 7 on this computer and show you. So, but yes, that's a video I'm thinking about making is, how could you do all this within Pro 7? So that way, if you need to edit titles and that kind of stuff, you can do that. Yeah, so that's how we're doing it currently. All of our lower thirds are being sent from Pro 7 over a Decklink Duo. So let's get into, since you don't have any more questions right now, let's get into some interesting tech that I've seen in the last week. Just things in the tech world that I think, we need to be keeping on our radar as worship and tech guys. And the first one for me is this dilemma I have of, do I upgrade my MacBook Pro 2015 now, or do I wait for September or October for the MacBook 16-inch Pro model? These are just some people's renders of it, of what they think it might look like. I'm a big fan of all the ports, multiple USB-C. This is Matt Tech's Talk Tech. I can't say it. Matt Talks Tech. His renders and stuff. But, it's interesting. Interesting thought. I'm not sure. I really need to upgrade. Have you guys upgraded to the M1 recently? Are you using the new stuff? Do you like it? Maybe I should have just went ahead and got the first M1 and then upgraded again whenever these new ones come out. You feel like you wait and wait and wait. But my little 2015 MacBook Pro is still doing good. It's still fighting. But I don't know how much longer it can handle all this. So I'm excited for those. We had a big announcement of the GH6, which it had been announced a while back. And if you know me, I'm definitely like a Panasonic. I'm engulfed in that camera line. I have lots of Micro Four Thirds stuff, and they finally did the official announcement this last week. And I gotta say, it doesn't seem that it's not going to impact my workflow for church stuff. But the thing I'm most excited about is that it might make the GH5 cheaper. Even I think the GH5 is I want to say $1,300 right now for the body, and the GH5 is just so good for church work. I mean, you have the full-size HDMI, which if you've worked with cameras with the micro HDMI, I have a bunch of them. They're just frustrating. I had to get cages for all of them and little security things for the micro HDMI so it doesn't, come out or break off. So full-size HDMI is great. We love the built-in IBIS, all the different frame rates you can do. It doesn't matter what you're going to stream in, the GH5 can output it over HDMI. It has good enough low light, all those kinds of things. So I'm excited for that. But the GH6 is interesting. That's coming out hopefully next month. Something else I saw that maybe you guys have heard of this. It's been around for a long time. This company in Germany makes these called the Klang controller. And these are basically in-ear monitor mixing stations, but they do it in surround sound. And so this is not a cheap venture if you wanted to get into this, but I thought I'd play just part of their video where they show you the difference in just a stereo mix and then this surround sound mix. So if you don't have headphones on, this may not make as big a difference. But
first, I put it into stereo mode so you can familiarize yourself with the mix. Okay, now 3D.
Wo ein Jahrhundert von den Wänden fällt, ist unsere Zuflucht und jetzt fragen wir, braucht man die...
Did you hear that? Everything got wider, much more transparent.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting thought, having surround sound in-ears. Having all that separation and stuff, it would be nice, but I think most people aren't even running stereo in-ears. So that would be a question I have for you guys. Are you running stereo in your in-ears, or are you still running mono everything? I I ran mono for years, and it was fine. But then you run stereo, and it's like a whole nother world opens up, and you feel better in them. And maybe that's kind of where we're going, is like this surround sound in-ear experience. I don't know. But right now, the Klang controller is all that. It takes other hardware and all these things. So it's, I don't think, really realistic at this point. And they've had it out for a few years. So maybe it's not going to catch on. I like Dave Dolphin's comment here. He says, step 1, use the pan knob. Yes, if you're running stereo ears, definitely use the pan knob. If you're running mono ears, definitely don't use the pan knob, because I've had that happen with some people where they were in like the right channel of their in-ear mix or whatever for some reason, and then they panned and they're like, I can't hear anything. So yeah, man, panning stuff makes all the difference for sure. Yeah, it definitely opens up and widens the sound stage. So let's see. Lincoln's got a comment here. He says, we run stereo in-ears. Do you have a recommendation for in-ear monitoring systems and in-ears regarding the drivers? So Lincoln, yeah, I just dropped a video earlier this week about a super budget-friendly wireless in-ear monitor system. But I mean, the basics would be just getting a headphone amplifier and plugging it into the bus out of a mixing board. You could do that. And then just use an app on your phone if you have a digital board and control the bus mix that way, or do a stereo bus. We have the Behringer P16, little units on stage that we actually run our wireless units. They come out of that little controller. So our people control their mixes on stage, and it goes to the wireless in-ears. Not everybody's wireless. Keyboards, bass, drums, they're all still just plugging straight in. And then as far as just headphones go, I mean, these are 1964s, and I think they're 6 drivers. I've had them for probably 7 years, I think. But most of my team is using different variations of the what are they? The KZT, KSTs. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The cheap Amazon ones. And I've had people buy like the 8 driver ones, and then most of our female vocalists just use like the little dual driver ones, ranging from $20 to, I think people have spent almost $100 on them. And my favorite ones of those is the KST Pros. No, don't have them sitting here. So, yeah, those are some of my recommendations. Caleb says, stereo for me, mono for the rest of the band. We will be going all stereo when our Avantis comes in. I don't know what that is. That must be a soundboard or something. Tell me what that is. I'm not like an audio file like mixer guy. I don't know everything about all of them. I know how to work ours really well. We run an M32. So, yeah, those are all good things. All right, something else that I have seen worship tech-wise in the world is everybody seems to want to control. They want to use these broadcast-style cameras, not broadcast-style cameras, more like a DSLR type thing or Blackmagic's or whatever. But they're like, how can I PTZ this? Like, make it be a pan, tilt, zoom, so I can have the great image, but then just have one person control all 8 cameras, which sounds good in theory, but I don't think that really works that well. And so this thing called Middle Things has been out for probably a year or so, but they came out with a new model of it, and it basically connects to your Blackmagic Pocket 4K over Bluetooth. It sits next to it, and it can either be over Wi-Fi or it can, I think, run Cat 5 back to your switcher maybe. And then you can control it with a joystick, like a USB gaming controller. And then you have to have software on a computer that talks to these things. But it looks interesting. I mean, you can control everything from the zoom, the iris, if you're using an ATEM with a Blackmagic camera, That's kind of the key, is how he's doing this. So if somebody is dead set on trying to figure out how to do that, look into this Middle Things. If you just Google like Middle Things ATEM Control, you'll see this company talking about all their stuff. And now you have to use, I think it's interfaces with just a DJI Ronin gimbals. So mainly because they come with like the built-in focus wheels and all that stuff. Not all the models. So have you guys seen those? Anybody tried them? It seems like it would be a lot of headache for things to go wrong. A lot of opportunity for things to go wrong. I don't know. There was another announcement of Canon. Canon came out with a new like actual broadcast camera, like ENG style camera, called the Canon XF605, but it's like $5,000, and I just don't think that's the best way to spend your money for what we're doing nowadays. We do have one camera that's that style. We have a DVX200, and so, but I think I paid $2,000 for it, and I don't know. That's just my opinion. I'm not all that impressed with the XF605, but it's something new. So here's what's going to happen. We have 35 minutes left before I have to end the stream. So today I've got two people that have said they want to, have me review their stream. So I've got that all loaded up here and ready to go. We'll look at it. So if you have any questions for me, just throw them in the comments today. And we'll chat about it. And I love that people are hopping in the comments and answering each other's stuff and chiming in. So that's what it's all about here on this Friday stream. So now it is time for the little segment that I like to call Get Off My Church Lawn.
What's all that racket?
If it's not from the Broadman, I don't even sing it.
They just don't make music like they used to.
Did you like that? Yeah. This segment is all about the feeling that I have of being, 37, worship pastor, and not wanting to become that guy that's like, what is this newfangled music? And so I like to just look at music that's come out in the last week or so, last couple weeks, the new bops, as the teens say. They probably don't even say that anymore. And just, I always want to come at things with like, where is the worship music culture moving, and how can I like get in the current and ride along with it, and not be the guy who is battling and being like, where's my overhead projector, and I only want to sing my As the Deer. I don't know. So we're going to look at a couple songs today, and these are two that I actually have already listened to a bunch of times that I just thought I'd share with you guys and get your thoughts. But one of them is for sure going in the rotation. I say that. This week we're doing a new song. We're doing King of Kings for the first time from Hillsong, and I think it came out like 2 years ago. So it takes a long time for me to incorporate new songs sometimes, just because you can only do so many so often. But this first one is Where I'm Standing Now by Phil Wickham. Phil Wickham has like 5 songs in the top 10 right now or something when you look at praise charts and multi-tracks and all those places where I go to look for new music. And this one's with Brandon Lake, though. So let's listen to this acoustic version that dropped this week. And I just love this song. So let's check it out. Let's look at another song in just a second. So Jake, you actually did buy the APC. He says he's still trying to get it to work properly. Okay, so if you do get it working, like, I would love to like do a Zoom call with you and just see what your thoughts are. So holla at me. But yeah, that was Phil Wickham and Brandon Lake. Where I'm Standing Now is what that song was that we just kind of broke down. That definitely passes the test for me. Biblical lyrics, solid melody, all those good things, you know? So we got one more that I'm going to let you listen to on my Get Off My Church Lawn segment. This one comes from Shane and Shane. They're veterans. They're guys that some people I even hear comment like that they're kind of old school now, and that breaks my heart a little bit because I don't feel like they are. I feel like they're amazing worship leaders that, yeah, they do covers of some older songs and stuff, but I lead in a multi-generational church, so sometimes those are perfect. I love the song. It's got a cool vibe to it, and then it has a hymn tucked in there in the middle, but it's not like corny. So tell me what you guys think. This one, I don't remember what it's called. Let's just listen to it.
Fully God and fully man, no human mind could comprehend the fullness of obedience to the point of death when it made no sense. How marvelous this mystery, my King would give his life for me. Oh, with open arms upon the cross, you paid it all at the highest cost. You gave your life to save my soul. Oh, Jesus, you're the greatest love I've ever known.
And you can always let your females take the other Shane's high harmonies. I want to fast forward to the bridge if I can. Oh, gosh. Let's see if I can get up to it.
I received my sight, and now my sins are washed away.
They snuck in at the cross there.
Washed away. I'm happy all the day with open arms upon the cross. Paid it all at the highest cost. You gave your life to save
They
my
always use that
soul.
interesting little drum set on their stuff. I don't know what that is.
Greatest love I've ever known. With open arms upon the cross, you paid it all, even at the highest cost. You give your life to save my soul.
So
Oh,
good.
Jesus, you're the greatest love I've ever known. Yeah.
I remember seeing Shane and Shane in Norman, Oklahoma at Journey Church when I was probably, I think I was a senior in high school maybe, and hearing him do the triplet strums, like I had just started playing acoustic, and it was like that I have to learn how to do that. And so, you know, that was the thing there for a while. Love Shane and Shane. If you don't follow their worshipinitiative.com, you can check it out. I'm a member of I'm a member of all of the things: Worship Online, Worship Artistry, Worship Initiative. I have all the subscriptions. One thing that I do love about their site, though, they do have a free app. I think it's called Daily Devo, and I share these with my team all the time. When we're doing a new song, they have these devotionals that they've written for the different songs, and these are popular songs that we're doing that they're covering and breaking down how they do them. But I love the devotionals that they'll tie in with it. So check that out. That's the free resource right there, is dailydevo.com, I think. Oh, not .com. It's just an app. So check your app store. Let's see. Johnny says hello. Hello, Johnny. How's it going? Bradley, here's a good question. All right. And you guys, I want you to chime in if you know stuff about cameras. I'm still looking at these. It says, it's time to upgrade our church cameras. Should we go for the Pocket 6K non-pro, or is the GH5 easier to use, as most of our team are inexperienced? So, let's look here, Johnny. First of all, what is your budget? And that is a good question. I'm going to pull up the Pocket 6K non-pro because I'm not sure on the price. I believe the main differences, it looks like the Pocket 6K Pro is $1,900 and a GH5. So a GH5 is about $1,300. Now, your differences are going to be, this has a Super 35 and it's an EF mount. So, whereas a GH5 is a Micro Four Thirds mount and a little bit smaller sensor. I mean, are you already running an ATEM? Do you have, are you wanting the ability to be like shading things on the fly? Everybody makes a big deal about like, oh, if you get a Blackmagic camera, you can control it from the ATEM software. I don't really think that's that big a deal. I mean, we don't adjust our cameras in church stuff. At least I don't, hardly ever, because it's the same lighting every week. You don't need to be adjusting white balance. It's not like you're moving around outdoors to indoors and needing this, on-the-fly ability. On-the-fly ability? Yeah, that's not one word. That's multiple words. Ability to change things. The 6K looks like a great camera. You'd probably have great dynamic range compared to the GH5. I don't know that dynamic range is like that important in church work. If you are inexperienced, I lean towards the GH5 just because it's so easy to just put it in natural profile. You don't have to mess with LUTs and, all that kind of stuff with the Blackmagic. And it's got some built-in stabilization. And the battery life is great on it. Ergonomically, I feel like it just feels a little more normal than the big, pockets, like they call them, for Blackmagic. So I would lean towards GH5, but I'm sure the 6Ks would be great. But if you're inexperienced and looking for stuff, maybe... I mean, it's hard for me to say. I mean, that's just kind of my answer. Those are both good options. So whatever you choose, though, you're going to have to pick a lane. What you could do is do a GH5 with the older Pocket 4Ks, because those are Micro Four Thirds sensor, and then your lenses can share bodies. We do have some EF lenses we use adapted onto our Micro Four Thirds bodies, and that works pretty well. But that's just a thought. So he says they do run the ATEM Studio HD. So I don't know, man. You can always buy a 6K, try it out, and return it if you don't like it, I guess. So what other questions do you guys have before we hop into the stream reviews? What would you do if you're watching the stream right now? Would you get the 6Ks? Would you get the 6K Pro? You don't need the Pro because you don't need NDs inside. Or would you go with the GH5? Maybe you go with something else. Maybe do the A6400. Everybody likes those too. So I'm just a Panasonic. I kind of got in that system, so I've stayed there. Or maybe you just go Sony FX3s. It depends on what your budget is. So let's go to our little live streams now. We had 2 people submit live streams. Let me pull up the details of this first one if I can. Last week, one of my buddies that was on here from Germany actually submitted a live stream, and we're going to look at his in just a moment. The first one, though, this is Orly Noyola. Hopefully you're watching. If you're there, why don't you comment and just let us know that you're watching it today, so we can give feedback to each other. He is the media director at Rock Ages in Pharr, Texas, Pharr. And so this is what they're doing. They're going from Sling Studio into Restream, and they have 3 Panasonic AG UX90s, which are the more like ENG style camera, the broadcast, like, zoomable and all that kind of stuff. They're good cameras, tripods, platforms, and then they use one roamer using an iPhone 11 Pro Max on a DJI Osmo Mobile. That's awesome. Okay, I want to check this out. And just I'm curious how that roamer looks with the iPhone 11 Pro. So let's pull up. I believe it is this one. All right. So they're just introing here their service. Got a little graphics going. That looks good. Let's get to where the band starts. I'm using Pro 6 on my computer, so you know how hard it is to like fast forward on Pro 6. All right, here we go.
I want to clap a little louder than before.
Nice voice.
I want to sing a little louder than before.
There he is.
I want to jump higher than before. I want to shout louder than before. Come on and sing freedom.
All right, so as we're just kind of watching this roll, I'm gonna give you my thoughts. So it looks like you guys are probably dealing with some of the same stuff that a lot of churches are dealing with mixed LED lighting and front lighting. So your main singer there at the keyboard, his skin tone looks, more bluish, and I think it's just some of your back wall wash that's getting on that girl right there too. It is getting onto their faces. So if you can, maybe adjust that to where the colored lights are not hitting people's faces, and you're using the front key lights more to light skin tones. We all want to talk about cameras and switchers and all that stuff. And I was consulting with a church a couple weeks ago, and I just told them, like, until you fix the lighting, your cameras aren't going to be able to be used to their full potential. So, and this is just the first song, but camera-wise, the shots look pretty good. They look in focus. I like the framing. There's not a bunch of weird headroom or side room. Things like that shot are great. I'm a big believer in adding motion to the shots. Oh, that must be the iPhone. Oh, get a bass player. So we're kind of jumping between, it seems like, a few different kind of staticky shots. Your people that are on these AG UX90s, if you have those, then you need to use them to their full potential and be like doing slow zoom outs, slow zoom ins, give them a rocker lever. That must be the roamer too. That looks pretty good. Go iPhone 11 Pro. So, just slow push in, slow push outs. Use the cameras that you got, and slow pans, that kind of thing. Any kind of motion like that'll help. Let's listen a little bit more, and you guys watching, let's listen to the stream mix and give feedback on that.
Declare it, church. No more shackles and no more chains, no more bondage. I am free. Yeah. No more shackles, sing it, church. No more shackles and no more chains, no more bondage. I am free. Yeah. Hallelujah.
All right, that's a pretty good mix. I'm hearing like some stereo stuff, some guitars panned a little bit. I like that the acoustic is not like blaringly loud. Vocally, I feel like I don't know if you're the main leader at the keyboard or not. He has a lot of reverb on his voice. Not too much, but compared to the girls, they sound a little drier than he does. What do you guys think? Any other tips? All right, let's fast forward to another part of the service and just see if there's any other differences here in lighting or, oh, he had some different drum cam shots. Let's just play a little bit of this. So one thing else I will say, as somebody who's never been to your church, I would love just one shot every once in a while, starting the service, of just a wide shot of the space. We call those establishing shots. And that helps me kind of just have an understanding of where we are with all of these other shots. You know, just a brief, using one of those Panasonics to start the service super wide. And maybe you guys don't have anybody meeting in the building yet, so that's why you don't want to show just like a vast empty space. I don't know if you're meeting back yet or not. But that would be something I would suggest, is, you know, kind of thinking through that. So, all right, let's move on to our second stream review. And if you would like your stream reviewed, if you want to, you know, put it out there for all of us to talk about, then you can send me an email to rylandrussell@gmail.com. That's what these guys did, with a link to your service, and tell me like what you're using, if you can, if we speak the same language, and that way we can kind of, you know, evaluate and help each other, sharpen each other. So yeah, send that there. Guys, if you haven't liked or subscribed to the channel, then I would love it if you would do that. I'd really appreciate it. It helps, you know, helps me out as I'm doing this YouTube thing. Some of you other guys that do this whole thing, you know, it doesn't just happen. It takes some time put into these things. And my heart is to help the church and to help other people who are going through my same journey as well, who might just be a few steps behind. But would appreciate it, man. I'd appreciate it if you like and subscribe, do the whole YouTube thing. So let's look at our next stream review. And I need you guys to help me. Like, don't just put this all on me. All right, this is from Julian. Julian, I'm not sure what church he's at, but he's at a church in Germany. So let's pull his up, and we'll take a look. All right, we got a pre-service deal. Here we go.
Echten Frieden schenkst allein nur du.
Okay, I'm already sensing like it sounds really nice. There's a little more space in this one. Vocal EQ sounds great. Okay, I'm seeing a little Romer back there by the drums. He was wired though. There he is. V-drums. Let's see if we can get it to where it kicks in a little more. Love shots like that. Down the line. All right, so far, it sounds really good. I would say the drums are a little low in the mix for my taste. And I will give you an idea as well for your V-drums. I think we had that same exact set. It might be a TD20. And what we did to help a lot with the sound was, we run acoustic drums now. But back when we had V-drums, we would go MIDI out of the brain into our MacBook and use different samples for the drum sounds. We were using Steven Slate's drum library, and I believe it would basically automatically work with the different mappings already. You can go in and remap, but it'll help a lot with the sounds of the drums, just to kind of make them sound a little more lifelike. These aren't bad, but that's an idea. The colors match really well, so good job on that. White balance all looks the same. Oh, you're doing iMag. Mix sounds really good. Let's talk about iMag. Do you guys in your church use iMag? And if you use iMag, I want to know how many people does your room seat? I was in a church doing an install a couple weeks ago, and they were running iMag. And we just had to talk to them about, at least in my opinion, I don't think you need iMag if you can see the presenter on stage just as well as you can see him on screen. Most of the time they were using a waist-up shot, and on the projectors that they had, he was actually smaller on the projectors than he was in real life. And so it's supposed to be image magnification. And in my opinion, I think it can be distracting almost to have iMag, image magnification. That is the video up on the screens with the words underneath, of the band playing. In a church that, like, we run, our worship center seats about 400 people. I would never do iMag in it except for maybe very special things like real close-up of like a sermon illustration, or maybe our baptistry's over off to the side or something where people can't see it. But it would be, I think it feels weird unless you're in a really, like a much bigger room to have iMag, which is, live video on the screens. So do you guys do iMag? Am I wrong? Like, what do you think? How big does your room need to be before you can justify doing iMag? Let's watch just a little bit more of their stream. Let's see if there's any other. Okay, they just got the sermon. All right, we'll go back to one of these songs just a little bit. So I think that your camera work, your guys are doing well. You got some good looking color profiles going. Something I always talk to my band about is just connecting what's happening on the inside with the outside. We can get so consumed with playing that our faces don't translate what is going on in our hearts because we're too busy thinking or looking or playing or looking at our music. And for online, like, that's so important. And if you've got a person as the camera director that just kind of looks grumpy, then maybe just focus on, like, the girl's hands playing more or something like that. So, all right. That'll do it for the stream reviews today. Remember, if you want to have us kind of look at your stream, then send me a email to rylandrussell@gmail.com. We have about, 7 to 10 minutes here where I can answer questions. If you have any tech questions, what's going on? What do you need help with? If you haven't checked out my most recent videos, do that. We have, I posted one about wireless in-ear monitors, a real cheap system. And then just yesterday, a ProPresenter 7 question, or how we do our black bars on ProPresenter. Let me see if I can pull up Pro 7. Somebody was asking earlier, how do you do animated lower thirds in Pro 7? And I was messing with it last night. Let's just see if I can do this without messing up the stream completely. Don't you love doing things live? Okay, I've got it up. Here we go. I think this might actually work. Because we do all of ours in After Effects, is what I was saying earlier. And so, but I was thinking, like, why couldn't we do a copy of these in ProPresenter? And so I was trying to build just some animated lower thirds on top of that, is all within Pro 7. And so this is kind of what I came up with, using some of their transitions. And most of their transitions don't work well for like big images. I would not use them for that. But for items coming on and off the screen, they do work well. And so, you can go in and just build them and play around with them. Let's see if I can go in here. One thing that they've really updated in Pro 7 is just the ability to like fill these lines and stuff with different, it's filling the text box layer, that kind of thing, instead of having to do separate rectangles and things. And this is just a box with a stroke on it and that kind of thing. So, that's an option for sure. You don't have to go into After Effects and render out an alpha channel file. But you can, and that works well. So, let's see. This kind of goes along with what we're talking about here. What's the best way to get lower thirds on your live stream and also full screen using a switcher? So the way that we are doing it currently, it depends on how you're sending out your stream, I think. For us, we're not using ProPresenter for live streaming. We're streaming through a Web Presenter HD. And so ProPresenter, the way we have it set up, is sending out three different outputs. One full screen output. No, four different outputs. Full screen output, stage display, and then a key and a fill. And so you can have ProPresenter 7 send all those same looks, all those different looks to the different locations with one click of a button. That's my preferred method, just because you don't have to have more volunteers running your on-screen graphics for your service and then also for your live stream separately. And so that's how we do it. They've got lots of tutorials on Renewed Vision's deal. I'm going to do a video breaking down how we use ProPresenter on Sunday mornings. I depend on ProPresenter a lot more than I think some people. We're running our tracks all through it even. So, yeah. John Mark, he's got a good question. What are the first 3 camera angles we should incorporate? Well, I always tell people, start with the first 2 of just 2 cameras right there in the center where you can have a medium to wide shot and then also a medium to tight shot, just right there next to each other in stable positions. And those are a good first starting point, and those give you a lot of flexibility to be able to make your stream dynamic. You don't need a cable cam next. I don't know how many people have messaged me, hey, how do we do this cable cam? We're just getting started live streaming. I'm like, don't try and do a cable cam if you're just starting. Cable cam is like the cherry on top of the sundae, is what I like to say. It's like, you don't really need it, but it's nice. It's nice to have, on that 8th camera shot if you want to do that. But in my opinion, the next thing that I would incorporate into your stream after that is something on stage, something up in the mix, as a baby step, like not a manned camera yet, maybe just adding a static camera on your drummer. That instrument gives so much more energy to streams usually. So if you can add one there, and then the 4th camera that I would get would be that I would invest in a wireless setup to have someone roaming throughout the auditorium. I am passionate about trying to make our stream feel like people are in the room with us as they're watching, and they're not just like spectating. A lot of times you'll see like a shot from the balcony, like just this wide shot. And to me, that's like you're a fly on the wall up there and you're just kind of watching the church do their thing. But when you have that roaming camera kind of, showing the crowd that they're in the mix, you've seen it. It just makes so much of a difference, I feel like. So that's kind of the order I would go in, John. Of course, you guys are rocking the LED wall over there at your church, so I'm going to have to come take a look at that sometime. So, Dustin, thanks, dude. He says, this is great stuff. I always learn from you, brother. Thanks for serving the church. Me and Dustin go way back. And then he moved away from Oklahoma, but we forgive him. So, Dave Strucken, is it possible to apply a different theme for an NDI output that is separate from the theme already going to the main iMag lyrics feed from ProPresenter 7? Yeah, I think so. I mean, NDI, I don't think it matters what kind of output it is. If we hop over here on ProPresenter 7, I got to go full screen on this. You have the ability to apply looks to whatever screens you have. And so here on my laptop, I don't have, but just 2 fake screens here because we don't use this MacBook for Sunday mornings. But it would just be right here, and then you would change whatever theme you wanted on it. I think I'm answering your question. Yeah. So that's how you do that. You would apply your theme to whatever screen, you're wanting to change it on. So did that answer your question? I think I'm understanding correctly. That's the great thing about Pro 7, and they still haven't fixed my thing that I made the video about, though. The thing that annoys me most about Pro 7. They made these macros function, which is macros are great. We've got some macros built, and it helps when you're building your stuff, or maybe if you want to send a MIDI note to change the color of your lights to your lighting computer. Like, that's cool. And then they try to make it seem like you could do this clear all function by using a macro without clearing your hallway feed, because that drives me crazy that we have to have a Stream Deck just to clear everything except our hallways. If we could only assign the macros to keyboard shortcuts, just like an actual F1 or F12 or whatever becomes clear everything except the hallway feed. Because they touted this hallway feed. You can always have, announcements scrolling in the hallways on your TVs, but then our people got so accustomed to hitting F1 to clear the screens during rehearsals or whatever, just as like a safe thing, but it would clear the hallways. And so we had to buy the Stream Deck, blah, blah, blah. Hopefully they make it where you can assign it to keyboard macros soon. One last question here, Dave. Just to follow up, I didn't see that submenu. Did you right-click it or hover over? I think I just clicked on it, actually. Yeah, just the little icon. You just click on it, and it brings up all your themes. So, yeah, check Renewed Vision's website if you can't figure that out. Or just hop on chat with them. I will say, ProPresenter support is pretty good. Always can hop on the live chat with them. So, I said last question, but we'll do one more. What is the best way to run power? Ooh, like my entire sanctuary is ran on one breaker because the outlets are wired to the max. We put the sound rack on the extra out of place outlet. That's a different breaker. Yeah, power is a huge thing to think about that luckily here at my church, they did a pretty good job with. But I have a buddy that lives here in Oklahoma that they got struck by lightning and all their stuff got fried, I think maybe Dustin was saying something about that previously too, where he's dealt with that. And so power is for sure important thing to think about and map out as you're building your system. We have all of our media booth on a separate panel from, the main church stuff. And then we actually had new power installed for the stage extra. I mean, so yeah, you've got to manage how many amps and all those kinds of things, because the last thing you want is for you to be tripping a breaker. So, yeah, I mean, I would say have an electrician come out. Surely you've got an electrician in your church that can help you walk through that. So, electricity scares me. I've been shocked one too many times, and I try to avoid it if I can. So, all right, guys. Well, I think that is going to wrap up the stream for today. I just want to say I appreciate y'all and all the support on the channel. And I hope that these live streams are worthwhile. If you enjoy these live streams, just, hit that like button so I know to keep doing these. It is my day off, so I could be home mowing my lawn, I guess, if I probably should do that. So I'm going to end with this. Remember, we can do a lot of great things. Let's do it all for the right reasons. See you in the next one, guys.